Hello, I'm going to show you how to use my automatic stitch generating tool to add and adjust stitches onto your models. So I'm starting with a basic Suzanne with a leather applied, just so we have something to work with. But all you have to do is append, and once you have that downloaded, you just open up the file that you have it downloaded it to, go into your collections, and append the stitches collection. That's going to bring everything you need directly into your scene, including a curve that's already empty and is ready for you to apply stitches to. You need to tell it right here which mesh you want to apply stitches to. Once you've done that, it's just adding the curve. The easiest way is to use the draw tool, making sure that your tool setting is set to surface. And you can just draw directly on the surface and it applies the stitches that way. You can also use the pen tool. If you do that, I recommend setting your snap to face project. That way it will automatically, if you use G to move it around, will snap it directly to the face. Couple things you can adjust, starting with the scale. Total scale of everything is just so that if you're working in a scene that's larger than these are designed, which is in the millimeters, you can scale the entire thing up so that it fits your scene appropriately. Stitch type just is what type of stitches you're using, single stitch, double stitch, or cross stitch. Thread length is how long each individual stitch is. The width is how thick each individual stitch thread is. That will control a couple factors automatically. The twist is actually letting you control the individual strands and how twisted they are. Or you can also control how many strands there are. You can go down as low as 1, up as high as 10. Loose strands, you'll see they're not quite tightly wound right now. You can make them tightly wound, or you can make them insanely loose, or preferably somewhere in the middle. Rotation is the rotation of the entire stitch. The bump is how much they are removed from the surface. Way completely loose, or again, somewhere in the middle. Distance between stitches is how far apart each individual stitch is from each other. Double offset being how close the two are when you're doing the double stitches. That will not affect any other stitch type. The hole scale and hole intensity controls how big the holes are and how noticeable they are. With the intensity, if you do drop it to 0, the geometry that is creating the effect will go away entirely, so it's not affecting your performance. Same thing with the seam intensity and scale. Larger seams, lower the intensity to 0, and it will go away entirely. The last one is for some extra troubleshooting if you do run into issues. If these here are starting to clip the surface that you're working on, either your geometry needs to be more smooth so that you have a better surface to work with, or you can adjust this scaler to pull the shadows and the seams out from the surface a little bit more. The other issue you may run into is if you're using cycles, which this does fully support, and you have your stitches really, really close together, too many semi-transparent layers on top of each other might not work as well. That can be easily fixed under your render settings, under light paths. You just need to move this up usually to 10 or 12, and that will go away. The reason why is because right now there are 5 different layers of transparent material all trying to be rendered at once. So if you move that up to 10, that usually fixes that problem. All right, thank you, and I hope you enjoy.